Good news. Want to hear all about it? Stay here. Bloomberg is bearish altcoins. Thank God. A major right-wing talk show host with a history of working for sovereigns hates Bitcoin. That was 2 days ago. Thank God. Now that everyone is bearish, and I mean everyone, as in Bloomberg and talk show hosts, now that Peter Schiff is going to be doing a big media world tour, that's the gold guy. Now it is time for crypto because everyone is negative. I mean, you should see this Bloomberg article, right? Altcoins are worth 800 billion less than they should be. Bro, it's a bigger number than that. Now, if you want to hear more about what this means, if you want to hear more about what's currently taking off in the crypto market, you should stay right here. Another big development for crypto. Again, the AI coins pumping this morning as Oracle injects capital into the market by doing yet another big AI data center build out. There is no limit to how much they're going to build. None. And here's why. We talked about this yesterday. OpenAI has got borderline fully sentient AI, artificial general borderline super intelligence in a test tube, which is why they're giving them all the money that they want. You're going to see the Optimus 3 robot, and you're going to see what kind of AGI Elon has, and you're going to watch it walk around and talk. What does this mean for crypto? Well, think about it. You have massive amounts of money going into AI, and crypto is completely undervalued. The Bloomberg article blames it on retail being less interested in alts and more interested in the equity market, right? Because you can get a 10x in an AI stock, a Bitcoin mining stock that pivots to AI, or frankly, anything with a narrative. Quantum computing, nuclear energy. It's just a big retail party. Now, can retail move altcoins? Yes. Is all the capital over in equities? Yes. But is that really the reason why altcoins are undervalued? Or is it just the fact that the institutional money, the hedge fund money, has not arrived yet? The real reason why altcoins are down, and I have a solution to this, so stay right here, is Ethereum hasn't fully taken off yet. Now, of course, Ethereum did go from 1,300 to 4,300, so you have to give it a break and let it rest. But, you know, there's a DeMark chart formation in Ethereum because there's nothing that wakes up altcoins like ETH. That's the way it was in 2020, right? When ETH took off, DeFi followed, and then it was off to the races. What's it going to be this year? I don't know. This year, I think it could be Bitcoin first, and then you could have some dark horse. I saw a talk on the internet of Chainlink. Hello, right? The cross-chain world. Everybody thought it was over in Zcash. Zcash is up 10%. And lo and behold, this crypto thing is getting so powerful that JPMorgan is now accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral because high net worth individuals will go elsewhere. And everybody is worried about what retail is doing. Everyone's worried that there's this bubble in stocks. Oh my God, it's a bubble because of what retail's doing over there. Let me tell you something. It's not 1999 where it was just mutual funds and maybe a couple of hedge funds. This is a lot different. There's retail, there's hedge funds, which is a gigantic class of people. And then I think there's like sovereign wealth funds and much, much bigger players that have so much money relative to the size of the crypto market. You go back to 1999, if you really want to have a discussion about retail, in October of 1999 is when Nasdaq went vertical. People were talking about Nasdaq being a bubble prior to that vertical takeoff where it was like an IPO craze. right? That sent Nasdaq, massively higher in a vertical fashion. A lot of people don't think anything like that can happen again. And of course, everyone in crypto is bearish, wounded, and very messed up. I mean, in stocks, fear greed is at 27 and the S&P is at all-time highs. Somehow everyone decided to get perma-negative. Now, I understand people in crypto are annoyed because every time it goes up, they just wind up slamming it back down again. However, sentiment, what I used to call the front page of the newspaper, is now turning bullish crypto, which was the inverse of what it was back in January when Michael Saylor changed the name of MicroStrategy to Strategy, and his PR people got him on the front cover of Forbes, and that was the end of the market, right? That was the sentiment peak. I didn't want to admit it at the time, but that was it. Now we're in the other direction, right? Bloomberg writes altcoins are over. Some major political commentator goes out and says, I would never touch Bitcoin. It was created by a sovereign intelligence actor. Of course, it was created by a sovereign intelligence actor. Do you realize that in 2008, when a sovereign intelligence actor testified before Congress on their biggest risks to the American economy and America in general, the number one risk was a repeat of what happened in 2008. So it's natural that some sovereign actor, whether it be in the US or in Asia, created Bitcoin as like a fallback currency. Now, I don't know if they thought it would proliferate into a fallback currency and technology system, but guess what? It did. Oh, and by the way, you have banks that have problems, just like 2008. But I'm taking a different tune. So stay with me on this because this matters. So guys like me that came from Wall Street, here's what they're saying. Well, you have a bubble in equities and you have banks in trouble. So you have 2008 and the Nasdaq bubble top and crash in 2000, all rolled into one. Let's all go out and get super bearish. I have a better idea because you can tell by Zcash, virtuals, right? ETH up 3%, Solana up yesterday. You can tell that the Fed is coming, right? The bubble in equities could move to different parts of equities and even crypto, specifically the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Bitcoin is designed to be the way the system vents pressure. So, okay, maybe you have a bubble, maybe you don't. I think this AI build out is so for real. It lifts the valuations of everything. Even FET, artificial superintelligence token, which has been destroyed, is up 2 days in a row. AI in crypto is waking up. So what happens if the thing that everyone thinks is a bubble turns out to be exactly the opposite? Like, let's wake up everybody. Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, YouTube. Let's do the opposite of what everyone is saying. By the way, for anybody who hasn't joined the YouTube member area, you could catch Toby Ward on each of the last 2 podcasts talking about human beings in the future monetizing their attention, right? Whatever you put your attention on, that's what the machines and Skynet will be interested and pay you for, because Skynet will still need to learn, and it'll learn from what humans pay attention to. Per Toby Ward. Well, guess what? Multicoin Capital, the OG crypto hedge fund, just came out with a giant calculus project and, associated article saying that we need to be able to have attention perps. We need to be able to pay people for their attention, which leads me to believe, wait a minute, aren't there decentralized crypto projects for social media? Yeah, I think there are, right? It's data for video. Any way to monetize your attention, any way to have proof of human, like proof of a human being doing something, or a proof of what machine did something on the blockchain? Has anyone thought about this? No. Multicoin Capital must watch the show. We are all based here in Texas. They must watch the show, as I say. There are huge bullish catalysts in crypto. For example, TikTok Nation, don't forget to put your questions in. We saw them yesterday. We didn't get to them. We're watching today. Everybody thinks like these futurists and all these guys, who are like, well, here's what the future is going to hold. One guy was like, you have 5 years to get as much Bitcoin as you can because Skynet, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Elon is out on the tape with real cheery stuff about the future of the job market, whatever. They're like, you got 5 years to accumulate Bitcoin. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. You know what? What happens if it's 5 months? What happens if it's 5 months? If everyone's going to be like, you know what? I need to do something different. I need a different form of money. And what happens if that happens now? When everyone's bearish altcoins, when retail is focused on stocks that have gone up a lot. So you have kind of a chase over there. They would rather buy the bottom. They would rather buy the top in stocks than the bottom in crypto. Interesting, right? It's about attention, right? The attention is in stocks. But what if the attention moves over to crypto? All you need is big boy Bitcoin to get going. And if there is a realization that crypto is your only hedge, you know who just told you that? The orange man, by pardoning CZ. The CZ pardon serves multiple objectives. One, I believe he's a citizen of Hong Kong, which makes him a Chinese national. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but CZ did go to jail over here for 4 months on some ridiculous charge. And he pardoned CZ in front of the meeting with the Chinese about trade. Now, a lot of this stuff with China about trade is, I think, theater and noise. And a deal is going to be reached per some smart commentator I've been listening to. Now, you have to ask yourself, Trump pardons CZ, giving you a possible green light for crypto. No one has thought of this, right? Did the orange man just wave the green flag for the market? Now, actually, the market is not really interested in that because any rally, no one believes it. No one's interested. The market's been quietly going up ever since Bitcoin hit 107, yet no one is interested. And there's always a coin going up 10% every day. It may not be your coin, but a coin is going up. Today, it's virtuals and Zcash. Right? So what if the orange man is waving the green flag on crypto? And what is the upside in the market if he gets some kind of deal done with China, or there's rhetoric towards getting a deal done with China? Because after all, everybody thinks the whole reason crypto is down is because of tariffs. Now, that's complete bunk, in my opinion, but Mr. Market wants to do what Mr. Market wants to do. And just like last time, when everybody got all upset, sold, there was a problem with the Binance mechanism. There was this whole narrative wrapped around that where people got perma bearish. And I think the same thing is happening with this bank problem. All it means is that everyone is negative for no good reason, and the Fed is coming. The Fed is coming, and there's also talk that, there is still a tidal wave of cash sitting on the sidelines. So as the yield on government bonds fall, as mortgage rates fall, which they are falling, as the Fed just continues to cut rates because of what's going on with the job market, where is all this money going to go? Like, retail might come over to crypto after it takes off. And smart money is probably hoovering it up now as we speak. Who knows? Smart money could actually be suppressing it so they can hoover it up as we speak. And nobody is considering this in crypto. Long short hedge fund gross leverage jumps to 219%, the highest level in at least 5 years. That's in stonks. So I have heard people say that what is going on in stonks is dangerous. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely dangerous. Let's go with it. The thing in stonks is dangerous. So let's sell the $25 million crypto AI projects because, you know, they're going to go to 5 million. They're going to vaporize. And I just have a simple question. Yes, people are over levered in equities because it's up only. And you could have a mess. You could. But what happens if you don't? What happens if you focused on crypto as a way to vent the excesses or the brokenness of what goes on in legacy? I don't know that anyone's thought of this. And of course, you know, crypto and Nasdaq will all trade together on the first wave, which is why no one's interested in buying Bitcoin. The 50-day moving average is at 114. You know, that's pretty much where Bitcoin's got to get through. But, you know, our Patreon Platinum support levels at 107 in Bitcoin and 3,800 in ETH are holding. And, you know, everyone who decided to, you know, get short Zcash is currently getting their face melted today. Right? Because, you know, a lot of people who bought it at 26 and sold it at 267, kind of like Solana, as soon as the sellers get done, Zcash up 10%. What is Zcash? Well, Zcash is private Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin Cash? It's Bitcoin that's faster. The guy who invented that, Roger Ver, got in trouble with the sort of the Gary Gensler, you know, crypto regime. He's next up to be pardoned, according to Polymath. I don't know if he's going to be pardoned, but Roger Ver is definitely going to be able to emerge as a free man, pay a fine, and get on stage and be a spokesperson for cryptocurrency like John McAfee and for transactional cryptocurrency. No one wants to talk about cryptocurrency, even though Zcash is smoking. Monero was up 5% yesterday. Yet everyone says, like Bloomberg, like, let's all trade with Bloomberg. You know, not only is Bloomberg like old school legacy, but they're actually very much to the left. It's interesting, right? That they had JPMorgan accepts collateral, gives up, and finally accepts it. And then that's good. And then right underneath it, they have, you know, altcoins worth way less, because literally the article's like retail investors in South Korea are too busy making money in stonks. Now, again, back to why you should crypto for the TikTok people who are out there or anyone who's new. Everyone is focused on gold. It's a good rally. Everyone is focused on stonks because of the AI buildout. But really, all you need is a robot to talk on TV at a press conference, or some realization that all of crypto is too cheap, and the only way to protect yourself and prosper, right? And prosper from all the negative things in the world is to own crypto. Because no one talks about this. Some people do. You know, everyone's like, well, you know, let me engagement farm and talk about the leverage in equities or the problem with the banks. And all of a sudden, I just get this feeling that like everyone's talking about it now. It's not the hidden macro thing. That's what Wall Street people love, right? They love to have the hidden secret, like the big short. Everybody wants to find the next big short. I got a better idea. Let's find the next big long. What's the next big long? I think it's Bitcoin. I think it is. And it's ETH behind it, because what's the only equity that they're not hyper leveraged? The only equity that the only stock that they're not hyper leveraged long is the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's unbelievable. In other words, if you look at what, like, say, Bitcoin miners have done, Bitcoin miners have 10x'd, yet Bitcoin doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Now, I don't know. Whales are selling, this thing with the Binance mechanism. Interesting about the CZ pardon, because again, Binance is what broke on that mega crash, causing the mega crash. The orange man is actually trying to maybe instill confidence in the system by pardoning CZ. The signals are there. I don't think anyone's paying attention. And if these inflation numbers that are coming out, the inflation numbers that are coming out are reasonable, this brings in the Fed. And if you combine that with what the administration wants to do, because, this big new ballroom, this big new party room that the orange man is building at the White House, seeing Coinbase, Ripple, and Gemini just donated $300 million to make the ballroom. Anything to get the orange man focused back on crypto. We never got the tax breaks. We never got anything like that. If they ever got on a tape and started talking it up, you know how you talk it up? The same way you talked it down. The same way you discounted the market so all your homies could buy. In other words, one thing that I don't think gets discussed enough, although it does get discussed, is that, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House for years, was a one-woman hedge fund. She's probably going to go down in history as one of the most legendary traders ever, because everything she bought in the stock market 10x'd before it was easy. Now, who knows if she had a portfolio manager, but whatever Nancy's account did, I think there's even an ETF that followed Nancy's account. Okay. Well, I'm sure the orange man is looking at this and going, well, I mean, if people in Congress can run their own hedge funds, then I can just move the market around myself. We can just move it all around. So they have a big China trade, Then there's a Binance problem on top of that, causing something more dramatic to happen than even they anticipated. And then because they're involved, they're going to have to talk it back up again, which is why no one is talking about a deal in China, which is why you get this grinding action in crypto, right? Everyone keeps waiting for it to go back down. Sure, could Bitcoin go back to 109? Yeah. Does that make for a very interesting live stream? Not really, right? Not really. Because what happens, like Target lays off 8% of headquarters, right? Like white collar workers doing spreadsheets. Target may already be telling you what's going to happen at the holiday season. They may already be telling you by making this move. Now, Target may have gotten itself in trouble for other reasons, but like the Fed is not seeing this. The Fed's not seeing this. The Fed's seeing it. Tom Lee is on the tape saying, Bitcoin is going to follow gold and wind up with some huge market cap. Now, I know that's the usual hyperbole, but there's a guy, I put it on my Twitter, crypto_noble, the Eagle King found it, the producer. Some guy talking about what happens in crypto if money starts flooding out of money market funds. In other words, normies. Normies are ready. The only thing you don't have in crypto right now is the price action. Like if you ever got the price action where stuff was going up, just like kind of like crypto can, like, you need a big breakout in Bitcoin, say above 120. Like use your imagination for just a second, right? Everyone's 200x leverage trading the range between 112 and 107. Just imagine what happens with normies if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Like how hard is that? How hard is it for ETH to make a new all-time high, or for Zcash or XRP to do something insane? How hard is this? Normies go to Coinbase, and I've said this before. Like, Litecoin's now up 3%. You can get yourself one full Litecoin for less than $100. Do you like Litecoin? I don't know. Do you like Dash? Dash went up massively. These things, these baby Bitcoins, they had huge spikes. This is in the normie universe. And again, this is the signal guy. People don't get this. The Orange Man's son, Eric, is on the tape saying the Bitcoin floodgates will open. Now, it's funny. He's known for his famous buy the dip tweets, which are immediately followed by a decline. But it's funny that no one has put together that the buy the dip tweets could be warnings about a decline, engineered or otherwise. And now the guy's on the tape saying, watch out in Bitcoin. Someone may be sitting on the market because there isn't enough crypto. JPMorgan gets involved. Where's JPMorgan going to get all their crypto? Where are they going to get it? Guys like Michael Saylor, Galaxy Digital, all these characters have been buying it for years. Well, easy. You distract, everyone's distracted with stonks, and then they make everybody over here so depressed, no one wants to talk about it. Like, the thumbnail for today, it's happening. Hopefully you believe me. It is happening. Eric Trump just told you it's happening. It's happening. Right? What's happening? Well, people are going to wake up and go, you know what? I think I should do this. Yeah, this is going to get away from me. Like, there is a nifty looking 13 bottom, DeMark 13 bottom on the Ethereum chart. Let's see if I'm savvy enough to be able to share this for TikTok. Get it on the screen. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. See this? If all you need is one decent update in ETH, and you can be off to the races. That's kind of a bottoming signal from a very, very special, but very, very old school form of TA, where it's really great at finding reversals, tops, and bottoms. It's really good at that. Nobody is running around going, except Tom Lee, going, yeah, it's going up. Right. And everyone gets immune to this. Like, eventually everyone got immune to Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin. Tom Lee is on the tape every single day. I don't think retail's paying attention to that. You'll pay attention if it's, if that spreads out, right? Like the guy from BlackRock, there's a lot of people who could get on the tape and start talking about this. Also, remember, whatever reason there is for gold to go up, whatever fear there is, too much leverage, negative interest rates in Switzerland, fear. That fear could be resolved through crypto and your bags, aka altcoins. Wow, Oracle spends a bunch of money on AI and virtuals. A top pick from, you guessed it, the YouTube member podcast. I don't know how many different ways to pick virtuals. Toby was like, don't you dare sell Fetch, even though I don't blame people for giving up on that. And I can tell you right now, I haven't been able to publish the work. The GAN model says, don't give up on Fetch. Fetch, FET, artificial superintelligence token, could catch up to Tau, which was crazy. I'm like, yo, it's like AI may be in love with AI, but why is everybody thinking negatively about AI? Because that's all over legacy. Want to get clicks on YouTube? Oh, let me tell you how to do it. AI is a bubble, right? AI is a bubble. Yeah, okay. AI is a bubble if you're some nerd sitting in a cubicle with spreadsheets looking at numbers in stonks that you've never seen before. Okay, fine. This time is different are very dangerous words. However, if you consider the build out, if you consider what one guy said, this AI thing is like kind of the invention of electricity. One smart guy said, what? You weren't going to build out electricity once you had it? And then how does this not translate over into crypto? We have a major theme in crypto, major. along with this attention thing. Like, how does this attention thing spread out? I don't know. I'll give you a hint. It's the same reason why virtuals is up 17% today. Our top layer one that, we've been getting all of our customers into for a while is near, right? Because that may be the layer one preferred by machines, as an example. So you thought we weren't going to talk altcoins, but we are talking altcoins today. And that's what we're talking about. Okay. More heavy stuff. Rivian, the electric vehicle company, 600 people flying. In other words, anybody who's going to let anybody go, they can't do it at the holidays. They can't do it around Thanksgiving. So any of this stuff that's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And a lot of this stuff is pre-announced. So a lot of stuff, savvy economists, the Fed should know this is coming. And it makes sense that the orange man should get a trade deal done with China. And then Powell comes in with a rate cut and dovish language. And I don't think anyone is considering the positive catalysts. I know there's negative stuff out there. We've covered it. Who cares? Right? I mean, yeah, it's negative. It brings in liquidity. Now, what do you want to do? I don't know. Find some destroyed altcoin, not last cycle's altcoins necessarily, this cycle's altcoins. How do you find this cycle's altcoins? I don't know. Find what's up on a down or flat day. What's up on a down or flat day? Privacy, Bitcoin babies, Zcash, whatever. We've been through this, right? You can look at the tape and you can see it. All right. That's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.